think first up is our recognition.
So I have two pieces of recognition, and hopefully one of the people that we want to recognize, I think they were on the 7 o'clock timeline. So
Do you want to move this to later in the agenda?
that would be great.
Let's move it to later in the agenda. We're at the first time for our public comment. Do we have anyone signed up for our first public comment period? We do not. Our student government report, our government representatives are off doing important student matters. We don't have any kind of write-up or anything. Approval of minutes. May I have a motion to approve the minutes for the April 22nd, 2025 regular meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Any amendments or additions? Not hearing any. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The minutes are approved. We have our superintendent's report.
Nothing tonight.
Committee reports.
Yes, the policy committee met today at 5 o'clock in room 200, and we reviewed policy number 2245, ex officio student member of the board, and that is we talked about the selection process for that and how there's going to be an application process, and the transition will happen between January 20th of each year, and it'll be a junior going into their senior year. This is a new state mandate that a student will be a representative on our board. We also discussed that policy as well. And that is a new policy that will be up for a 28-day read on May 21st to be voted on June 25th. We talked about policy number 8290, artificial intelligence. The only thing that needed to be done there is we added a definition for sensitive data. That will also be up for a 28-day read on May 21st. And voted on June 25th. We talked about policy 7310, the code of conduct. The final edits were made, little typos, little name changes that needed to be made. That is also up for a 28-day read on May 21st and will be voted on June 25th. The last policy we talked about is public access to district records, and all we did was add state mandated language. We also discussed our preliminary meetings for next year, and we will hold one quarterly, just like we did this year, in October, January, March, and May. Any questions?
You have a couple. The last policy, is there a number on that one?
Oh, I'm sorry, 3310.
3310, thank you. And just making sure everyone understands for policy 2205, the ex officio.
2245.
2245, excuse me, the ex officio student board member. Part of the ex officio is that they will be a non-voting member. So we are looking for input from them and following the new guidelines for their participation, and we really look forward to that. And we've been working with Mr. Hornick and the government class to help make sure that it is really laid out in terms of a framework for that participation, so that we get the best possible result. So,
Dr. Duca does plan to talk about this during new business as well.
excellent.
He plans to talk about this during new business as well tonight.
Any other questions or comments on our committee report? Okay, next up is correspondence. Correspondence to the district.
We had 7 total this time frame. 4 emails, 3 regarding student matters, 1 media inquiry, and 3 phone calls, 2 regarding transportation, and 1 regarding student matter.
Okay. Since the last meeting, the board has received 1 email regarding transportation. Next up is our correspondence. Ms. Delaney, or excuse me, our announcements. Ms. Delaney Elliott?
Good evening. Got a little bit of a list for you. On May 8th, Gordon Creek is holding their spring concert at 7 p.m. On Saturday, May 10th, the Armed Forces Parade in Malta will be held at 10 a.m. Also on the 10th, the Ballston Spa Athletics Hall of Fame will be holding their ceremony to induct the 2025 nominees. That's at 1 p.m. in the high school auditorium. Also, on Saturday the 10th, Ballston Spa High School Troupe will perform at the High School Musical Theater Awards that are being held at Proctor's, and that's at 7 p.m. May 12th is the 8th grade spring concert, which starts at 7. May 13th is the Wood Road Spring Concert at 7 p.m. May 15th is the Malta Avenue Spring Concert at 7 p.m. On Saturday, May 17th, is the annual Family Color Run being held at the elementary complex. Check-in for that begins at 7:30 a.m. Volunteers are still needed, and there'll be a link in this week's Scotty's Recap if anyone wants to sign up. May 19th, the high school JV Spring Concert will be held at 7:30 p.m. May 20th, we'll have school pride events throughout the district. And also, as you know, the budget vote and the Board of Ed elections. Also on that day, the high school varsity spring concert and senior recognition will be held at 7:30 p.m. On the 21st, Early College High School will be holding their Student Project Expo for 9th and 10th grade students. That's at 9 a.m. And on the 21st is also our next Board of Ed meeting at 7 p.m.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I just want to restate for some of our folks who are just coming in, we had our budget presentation, our budget hearing this evening, and the regular board meeting just started at the conclusion of that. So we did actually start a few minutes early this evening, but we're still going to get everything in. So I think we have our student government representative, and let's go right to the student government report.
All right, good evening, everyone. Just a few quick updates from student government. So prom ticket sales are starting, and we're excited to announce that they will start this coming Monday and will run through May 27th. Tickets are priced at $80 each. We're hoping for a strong turnout and are working hard to make prom a memorable night for the senior class. In regards to the senior gift, student government, because the senior class doesn't have enough funds for a senior gift, student government has extra funds, and we've decided to use that funding for a digital sign that displays the current letter day, which we hope will be helpful for students and staff alike. The budget for the sign has been set at $2,000, and we're just waiting to pick one out. And then in regards to nominations for student government and student council positions, those will also, nominations are going in next week for student government and student council. We're looking forward to encouraging strong leadership and student engagement across all grades. That concludes my report for student government. Thank you, guys.
Any
Just wanted to say thank you for the digital sign. I think that will be a great addition.
Credit to Mr. Robinson, it was his idea. He has to pick it out too, so.
And where will it be placed?
Wherever Mr. Robinson wants.
Right in the main lobby when you walk in, right now the letter days are on the thing. It's a physical sign, I'm just gonna replace that with a digital one.
Excellent. Thank you. Any other comments or questions? All right. Well, thank you very much for the student government report. Are we ready for our recognition? All right, we're going to now move on to our recognition part of our agenda.
So the first piece of recognition, the NYSBA, New York State School Boards Association, has a board excellence recognition program. And so I was notified early this week that one of our board members has been recognized for conferring more than 150 points on ongoing professional development and accepting additional leadership roles. So I did want to recognize our Vice President, Katie Whittemore, who has been recognized by NISBA for accumulating 150 points this school year. So congratulations, great job. And I would like to call Mr. Rasmussen up to the podium for a very special recognition tonight. Mr. Fleury, if you could come up as well.
As Mr. Fleury comes up, I'm really grateful that we were able to recognize him, because I don't think we would have been able to convince him to come back a second time to be recognized. For those that don't know Gary, accolades like this are not really his thing, and if I can share with you the story of why we're recognizing him, you'll understand. I think probably the most helpful thing is for me to share the email I received when I was first made aware of this. This was last Thursday. Mr. Fleury just gave abdominal thrust to a choking student and saved him. A huge thanks. I assessed the student and I wanted to let you know. I asked Mr. Fleury if he needed a break or relief, and he paused for a second and said, no, but maybe you could ask him. I went down to Mr. Fleury's classroom and I found Mr. Fleury doing what Mr. Fleury always does, which is teaching math, working with a class full of kids, and I waited patiently. And I began to assume this must have happened earlier in the day because they were just going about their normal routine. And I noticed a couple kids looking at me oddly and a little bit, and I'm like, what? And Mr. Fleury looks up eventually, and I said, tough day? And he goes, interesting. I said, are you good, Gary? I said, yeah, we're good. We talked about it as a class, but, state assessments are next week, so we got some work to do. And just went back to doing his work, and I left him to it, and I walked out and I said, I just have to recognize him because, for me, one of my core beliefs about any building I've worked at is I want it to be a place where I would want my kids to go. I used to think it was just for like a good education, but then I realized it was a place with people like Gary that don't think, they just act, and they do great things for kids that are beyond the classroom, and that includes saving a kid from choking who had too much gum in his mouth one day. But I think about my own children and the children of our community, and I'm grateful for teachers like Gary that do things like that each and every day. Probably not every day they get to do something like that, but knowing that Gary would do that every day if he needed to is something that I think we all get an opportunity to recognize. So Gary, I'm really appreciative of it, and I know the district is too. So thank you, Gary.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. And it wasn't abdominal thrust. The procedure is actually back blows. So it's 5 back blows, then it's the abdominal thrust. I just went over it in Boy Scouts the weekend before with some new crossover kids. So it's fresh in my brain, and I was just happy to be there to help them.
So are we.
Sure, absolutely.
That does conclude recognition. Thank you.
Okay, truly a remarkable story, and again, it's just the idea of learning those kind of first aid and safety trainings, and how important they can be. Do we have any announcements from any of our liaisons?
The Ballston Spa Education Foundation is in the midst of their annual appeal. Anything that you are willing to donate goes right back to the Ballston Spa teachers and their grant proposals. And if whether you're listening online or in the audience, you can go to their social media page or their website and scan a QR code and make a donation if you feel obliged. That would be wonderful. It's a fantastic organization. They present their grant recipients with their checks here every year, and our students see the benefits of those extra little things in the classroom that help them every single day. Thank you.
Yes?
Also, I just wanted to say that the Bark Silent auction just concluded, and wanted to give a thank you to all the businesses who supported the auction and to all of our community members who participated in the auction. Thank you for supporting the great work that they do.
Yes, thank you very much. On to, or does anyone have any old business? Okay, on to new business. May I have a motion to approve resolution number 481, reorganization meeting?
So moved.
Any comments? Any discussion? I just want to share that the organization meeting will be on July 2nd. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Resolution number 481 passes. I have a motion to approve resolution number 482, acceptance of donation.
So moved.
Any discussion? Not hearing any. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Resolution number 482 passes, and we thank the Rochester Institute of Technology for their donation. I have a motion to approve resolution number 483, award of bid.
So moved.
Any discussion? Not hearing any. All those in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Resolution number 483 passes. May I have a motion to approve resolution number 484, establish award.
So moved.
Any discussion? Not hearing any. All those in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Resolution number 484 passes, and we thank those who are responsible and behind establishing this award. I have a motion to approve resolution number 485, agreement, professional services.
So moved.
Any discussion? Not hearing any. All those in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Resolution number 485 passes. I have a motion to approve resolution number 486, agreement, professional services.
So moved.
Any discussion? Not hearing any. All those in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Resolution number 486 passes. I have a motion to approve resolution number 487, agreement, professional services.
So moved.
Any discussion? Not hearing any. All those in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Resolution number 487 passes. May I have a motion to approve resolution number 488, obsolete equipment.
So moved.
Any discussion? Not hearing any. All those in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Resolution number 488 passes. I have a motion to approve resolution number 489, placement of students with disabilities.
So moved.
Any discussion? Not hearing any. All those in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Resolution number 489 passes. I have a motion to approve resolution number 490, placement of preschool students with disabilities.
So moved.
Any discussion? Not hearing any. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Resolution number 490 passes. May I have a motion to approve, the resolutions number 491 through 501 are going to be recognized as a consent agenda for the purpose of Board of Education action. May I have a motion to approve the consent agenda, resolutions number 491 through 501?
So moved.
Any discussion? Not hearing any. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Consent agenda passes. We just have one of our tenure appointees present. Want to recognize Ms. Sisk, who is here in attendance. Congratulations on your tenure appointment.
Yay.
Other new business.
Thank you. I did want to take a little time just to talk about the new policy, but really the process for finding a student ex officio to serve on the board. So a couple months back, I had a pretty lengthy conversation with Mr. Hornick. We took a look at the policy. And so what you'll see also in the policy, there's really two avenues for nomination of this particular student. There's one where the superintendent chooses, which is what we'll do this year as we transition into the new process. And then there is another option where the student body would choose. So that's kind of what I want to talk about tonight. And so we would like, moving forward, to have an application process for all juniors. And really, part of the application process would have to be a junior going into their senior year. They'd have to be in good academic standing, a couple letters of recommendation from a teacher, and also submit a letter of interest. And so what we plan on doing is having this application process open in November. And I will facilitate the selection process, and it's going to be student-led. So there will be a peer review of all the applications, and that will be done by the president and vice president of each class, grades 9 through 12, 2 members of the student government, and 2 members of National Honor Society. So we have a really good comprehensive student body that's going to be selecting who this student is. The plan for next year is to maintain our student government president as the student ex officio member. And then in January, the new student junior would come on. They would kind of shadow, learn the ropes a little bit from that senior and then stay on. Moving forward, once we have the process established, the junior would come on and the term of office would be January to January every year so that we have an overlap. The senior would be allowed to stay on if they like, but if not, they could also, leave the board and we would just have the junior member who would be our ex officio member. And so as I talked about, so the timeline would be kind of mid-November for student submission of the applications. The end of November, Mr. Robinson would vet all the applications. And then the second week of December is when I would facilitate the selection process with the students. So it will be student driven. I'll just be a facilitator, kind of helping students work through the process, but ultimately they will choose their representative to the Board of Education. So this is something that we've worked on, and I put it in last week's bulletin, and so I just wanted to highlight it as a new item and gather any feedback that anyone might have or hopefully answer any questions.
Do we have any questions at this moment?
Has there been any consideration of having like the music students or the athletic students be part of this process?
There hasn't, but that's something we can certainly discuss.
Awesome, thank you.
So So these comments were specifically on the selection process and kind of the schedule and the timing of it. We're also going to do some work on what exactly is the participation look like and the process. And we want to make sure that we fully hear and have the student has the opportunity to share the student input. But in many cases, there are items where potentially the student wouldn't necessarily have the background that the board members may. So we may work on trying to put together some, background information or material for the said student, which they could review, ahead of the meetings so that they might be a little bit better prepared. And, we just want to, again, support that student, as best we can. And so there's still some details to be worked out on exactly the implementation and the participation piece.
I just wanted to make sure that the student wouldn't have access to all the documents that the board would have, no personnel records, right?
Yeah, that is correct. They wouldn't be allowed an executive session, and any of the confidential documents wouldn't be shared with the students.
Right. Again, we need to just make sure that we both protect the student and protect the district and the board. And there are obviously certain items that are confidential. There are certain items where potentially it wouldn't be appropriate. There might be a conflict of interest, just as there could be with a board member. That could be with the student representative as well. So we will be sure that we work all that out, and we don't want to put our student in an uncomfortable position, and again, or do anything that would possibly, negatively impact the board or the district. Okay. Does that conclude that
It does.
new business item? Any other new business items? Okay. We're now at the second time for public comment. Do we have anyone signed up? We do not. Do we have any representation from our associations? Think so. We have PTSA, PTA report. All right. The high school PTSA, their after prom planning continues. Their next meeting is Thursday, the 22nd, 6 p.m. here in the library. The middle school PTA, their book fair is ongoing right now. It will go through May 9th. Gordon Creek PTA, they have events for Teacher Appreciation Week, which is this week. Their May 16th Spring Fling will go from 5:30 to 7:30. Pizza truck, taco truck, Kona Ice, Mr. Dingling. Next meeting, May 22nd, will be virtual. Malta Avenue PTA, ongoing work on their spring planting, spring musical, which again is the Magic Treehouse Night at Dawn Kids. Their performance is May 30th. Their To Malta and Beyond event on Friday, June 6th, 4:30 to 7. They're working on field day preparation and 5th grade events. The Milton Terrace PTA, staff appreciation lunch is tomorrow, May 8th. They are getting ready for their Dance Fit Glow dance fundraiser, which kicks off May 19th, which is culminating in the Glow Dance on Friday, May 30th at 6 p.m. Their next meeting is Monday, May 19th, and it will be held virtually. Our Wood Road PTA, this Friday, they are accepting, that's May 9th, they are accepting donations of gently used books and puzzles. They're having a drop-off from 4 to 6 p.m. in the Wood Road bus loop, and that is in preparation for a May 31st book swap event at school, 10 a.m. to 12. And their next meeting is May 28th at 7 p.m. That's what we have for our PTSA, PTA. Our next meeting will be on Wednesday, May 21st, 2025, That will be after the budget and Board of Education candidate vote. We again look forward to everyone coming out and voting on Tuesday, May 20th. For tonight, we do have reason to go into executive session. We will not be returning to open session afterwards. So I need a motion to adjourn to executive session to discuss the employment of particular persons.
So moved.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? We are adjourned.